it's Michelle from Cozyegg, and today is Thursday, October 21st, 2021, and this is episode 110. So, thanks for rejoining if you are a returning viewer, and if you are checking me out for the first time, thanks so much, and I hope you'll stick around. So this is primarily a video about cross stitch. In particular, I'm going to be talking about what I love to refer to as dark October stitching. So that is a stitch along that Emily from Eclectic Possessions and I started 5 years ago, and have continued each year, where we stitch on dark, spooky, gothic, macabre things in October. And we also do dark 13 stitching on the 13th of every month. So feel free to join us using either the hashtag dark October stitching or dark 13 stitching. And we'd love to have you join us. So let's dive in, shall we? So I just recorded a couple weeks ago, and normally it's like a million years between my videos, but I thought it would be nice to come back in a couple weeks and record again. I think actually it's been almost 3, but that's okay. Who's counting? And I thought I'd just show you kind of what I've been working on, what my plans are for the rest of the month, and we'll kind of go from there. So I do have to say that a few weeks ago, some friends of mine were talking about Halloween quilting, and of course there is a great hashtag on Instagram, which I think is Halloween Quilt Parade, which is fantastic if you're looking for Halloween quilt inspiration. And I was bemoaning the fact that I did not have a Halloween quilt, which seems somewhat surprising and also a little bit concerning. But I was like, I don't have a Halloween quilt. I need to rectify this situation immediately. And then I thought a little bit further and remembered I do technically have a Halloween quilt. It is just not quilted. And so I decided to get out my nightshade quilt because it just needed to see the light of day or the darkness of midnight, whichever. So this is Nightshade fabric by Tula Pink. It is long out of print and highly coveted. And I will actually insert a photo of the whole quilt here. So I sewed this together, I don't know, a couple years ago, and as I said, it has not been quilted yet, so it is just a quilt top. But I do have a Halloween quilt. In fact, I have the best Halloween quilt in my personal opinion. So I felt like it needed to come out and play. Why not? So Halloween is coming up rather quickly. So let's talk about what I've been working on. So the first thing that I'm going to show you progress on, which is not dark October stitching, but still needs to get done, is Sarah Ann Banton, which is the reproduction sampler that I reproduced under Cozyegg Designs, and it will be available to everyone in December of this year. And so I am working on the model for it. It was a special release for the Tudor Rose Sampler Guild for our 20th anniversary last December. And so it has been limited just to those people that were members in the 20th year. But like I said, this will be available for release for everyone in December. So working on the model, and here is where I'm at. So I have been working on a lot of those issues that I talked about last time. I have managed to fix everything. It did take 3 tries to get this shrubbery in correctly, but it is finally in. And I will tell you that the way that the pages lay out in the chart, that shrubbery is over 4 pages, which, because you've got all these leaves and branches and everything, is a huge pain in the butt. So I printed myself out the section of the chart that had all of it together and decided if it helped me, it will probably help other people. So I am going to have a little bump out chart of that shrubbery, because that's a pain trying to figure out where you are on 4 different pages for something like that. So anyway, I finally got it done on the 3rd try, and I've got both my deer finished. I finished this shrubbery, and then I have proceeded to bring my border all the way around. It now matches up, and all that I have left, I have this little motif that I need to stitch over here. I need to do obviously the flowers in the border, and then the rest of this grass down here. There's 3 colors of grass, and then the final thing that I'll do is the snake. So that's where I'm at. It's coming along. I am happy to be back on track. And so what I've been doing is, because this needs to get done, and because I am also trying to do dark October stitching, I'm kind of switching between the 2. So I'm sort of working on dark October stitching throughout the week, and then on the weekends working on Sarah. And that seems to be working so far, so I'm just gonna kind of stick with it. So the first thing that I got out for dark October stitching, which is in this bag, which I just love, is Black Cat Hollow by Barbara Anna. Here is a photo of what the whole piece looks like. And she originally released this in 3 separate charts because it was a mystery sampler. She is doing another Halloween mystery sampler right now, which several people are stitching. There's one person, oh, maybe it's Emily, that's doing it on that purplish fabric, and it looks fantastic. So love Barbara Anna, especially her Halloween pieces. So you can now get it as the whole chart with all 3 pieces together, should you want that. So I am stitching this on 32 count Murky by Picture This Bliss, and here is where I'm at. So it calls for DMC, and I talked last time about potentially using an overdyed for this grass down here, because I really liked the effect of Emily's where she had the overdyed, and it gave some variegation in that grass. I tried both of the ones that I had pulled. One was closer to this color, the DMC color. One of them was a little brighter green. I ended up not liking either one of them. The one that was closer to this color, it was actually a shade, like just a touch lighter, and so the flowers that are here were kind of, the flower stems were sort of blending into it because it was just a little bit lighter. And the brighter green, I decided I just really kind of wanted to keep that feel of October, you know, and the kind of, not dead grass, but, you know, dying grass where everything is just looking a little, you know, autumnal. And I didn't want to have that sort of bright green summer kind of grass. So I actually just ended up going with what it's charted for, and it doesn't have the variegation that I was looking for, but I'm happy with the way that it looks. The flowers in there actually break it up a little bit. So basically what I got done this time is I stitched this little witch with her little pumpkin, these two trees, and then I stitched all of the grass, including the flowers in it. And so that's basically, you can see that's basically this whole half of that top section is now complete. I love that key. So very happy with how this is looking. I love it on this murky fabric, even though it's a pain in the butt to stitch on. But I really like the way that it looks. So I'm happy with what I got done. I felt like I got to I felt like I made some good progress, as well as I made a decision, you know, about something that had been kind of holding me back a little bit on working on this. So I feel like the next time I pick this up, I'll be able to just move forward, which is really ideal. You know, I hate to have to pick something up knowing that I have a mistake or I've got to figure something out or whatever, because then I don't want to pick it up. So very happy with how this is looking, and I'm happy that I made that decision and got that done. So and the other problem that I had when I was trying to work on this is that one of my skeins of DMC has completely disappeared, and I use it for, it's used in this chart, it's used in Ufendel, it's used in a couple other different pieces, like my Dutch Beauty and stuff, and it's like, where has it gone? No clue. So my dear friend Mary took a little road trip, brought me some DMC 832, and I'm good to go. So thank you, Mary, for yet again bailing me out. So I just can't. I don't know where stuff goes. Anyway. All right, so I worked on that, and like I said, I felt like I made good progress. I got to a good stopping point, and then I went and worked on Sarah a little bit more. And so then the next thing that I picked up to work on was my Moon Phases by the Little Stitcher, and this has been it's been my Dark 13 stitching focus piece since I finished Blacked Sky earlier in the year. And so my goal for working on this one was to finish it, and I'm not quite finished. So here it is, and I'll explain why it's not quite finished, but here it is. And so this is Moon Phases by the Little Stitcher. There are two versions of this. They both came in the same, came together, so you could decide which one you wanted to do. This one is the new moon version, and so the lady in the center, and this is kind of blown out, the lady in the center is in black for the new moon, and in the full moon version, she is in white. And I did do a skin and hair conversion for the two ladies on the outside. And I'm really thrilled with how this looks. So what I did when I picked it up, I finished the words up here. I finished this top border. I finished this scallop border. And then I brought this side border down. I did this bottom scallop border. I finished out the moons and then did this this bottom kind of lacy border. So that's everything that I did. Oh, and I had to fill in some of these stars as well. So that's everything that I got done. So what is remaining is there is some, if that makes a difference. No, it's still kind of blowing it out. There is some silver metallic that sort of laces up her bodice and her bodice, I think. And then there's metallic that goes across here to form the diadems that they're wearing. And then there are beads. And so they each have a bead. You can see that spot where the bead goes for their diadems. And then the center lady has beads here at her waist and then beads down here at the bottom of her dress. So I was like, great. You know, I have the metallic that I'm going to use. I'm actually going to use Rainbow Gallery Petite Treasure braid instead of the Krynic that was called for. So I have that ready to go. I did do a conversion to overdyes for basically for the white and the black. I used Weeks mascara and gassed picket fence, which is not a true white. It's more of a bluish white. So then I was like, well, surely I have black and white beads around here someplace. And so I went digging. And after 2 attempts digging in my stash closet, I was just like, forget it. This is not worth the hassle. So I shot off a quick email to 123 Stitch and said, please to be sending me some beads. So I just ordered black beads and white beads. That's what's called for. I just got the Mill Hills, and these will be perfect. High tech. These will be perfect. So all that I have to do to finish this is do that little bit of metallic, add the beads, and then done. So I will make sure that I get that done at some point during October. It may be next week, it may be this weekend, we'll see. But that's on the agenda. So this will hopefully be finished the next time you see it. And I will be very happy to have another whip off my list. And then I will have to find a new, no, you gotta go over there. Then I'll have to find a new focus piece for Dark 13 stitching. But there are worse problems to have. So, after I worked on moon phases, I got Sarah back out and worked on her last weekend a little bit, and then put her away. And so on Monday, I got out my next whip to work on, which is my Halloween neighborhood. And so I am adding a new house on here, and I will put a photo of the whole piece here. So I'm adding a new house in, and this is a Chessie and Me house from a chart called Hallow We House. And I will put a photo of it here. I'm saying all this, hopefully I can figure out on this new stinking software how to insert photos. We're gonna try it. If it doesn't happen, go look at the show notes. So, so I've started this. I am using some overdyes. So I got the grass in here. I am modifying the chart a little bit to suit my purposes. I've started on the house, and so I'm going to keep going on this. I'm hoping that between tonight and tomorrow night I can actually get this piece, get the house done. And so then Saturday and Sunday I can work on Sarah. That's my plan anyway, we'll see. But it's coming along. So, and it's been nice to get this piece back out because it's been so long since I worked on it. So I'm glad I got it back out. And so far I've really felt pretty productive with my Dark October stitching. You know, I felt like I made good progress on Black Cat Hollow. I felt like I made good progress on Moon Phases, and that should be able to be finished here pretty quickly. My beads just came today. So, and then if I can get another house in on my neighborhood, that's good progress too. I'll be happy with that. So then I have two more pieces that I am planning on working on for the month. So I will show you those. And so the first one is this is the Dracula book cover by Damn Good Crafts. This was a freebie at one point. It's no longer available online, so sorry. And I am stitching this on a 40 count Gondor linen in this sort of blood red colorway, and just stitching with black 310 DMC. So I think I talked about last time, I think I'm going to use an overdyed for that moon and give that a little variegation. That'll be nice. So that's where I'm at, hoping I can make some good progress on this. This piece has typically been my piece that I work on like on Halloween, because we typically historically have watched Bram Stoker's Dracula on Halloween, so it just seems fitting. But we'll see. I'm actually planning on working on it next week leading up to Halloween, so we'll see how that goes. And then the last piece that I have planned, which I am actually planning to start for our Dark October seance gathering that we're having on the 29th, Emily and I. And the invitations to that just went out for people that requested to join. Tut, you're making me crazy. You can sit right there. Nope, 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 nope. We're gonna have a little meeting of the minds here because he wants to sit here. What was I talking about? Dark October seance. Yes. So we opened up signups on the 13th, and then we sent out invitations to everyone that got a spot yesterday for the full moon. So I'd like to start this on the 29th for Dark October Seance. We're gonna do it again. No. No. All right. I just can't with this cat. I just can't. And people are like, why don't you just throw them off the table? And it's like, because he'll just get back up here. And I don't want to spend 20 minutes arguing with my cat. So I'm going to see if he will just lay down and not knock anything over. All right. Now let's see if I can go back to talking what I was talking about. So, Dark October Seance. So it's on the 29th. I wanted to have a new start for that. And so I have chosen this piece that has been in my stash for a while. And that is the Raven by the Primitive Hair. And I'm going to stitch it on the called for bowline linen with the called for threads. It calls for mostly DMC, but then also a couple of gentle arts. And so I've got my 2 gentle arts here. I just need to pull the DMC. And I have this on my Socks for Mom thread ring, floss ring. And that is from Autumn on Lazy Bear Farm. So, I'm looking forward to that. So I just need to pull my DMC, get that ready to go, and I'll be good to go. My husband is in the other room and I can hear his voice getting louder because I think he's trying to explain something to someone. So apologies if you can hear him. All right, so that is my plan for Dark October Seance. I am actually going to be updating the website. So there is a website, darkoctoberseance.com, and I am going to actually be updating it with some things that I think might be fun for, you know, making your Halloween celebration, whatever it is, whatever it may be, even if you're just sitting at home stitching. I thought I would put up some things that might be fun for atmosphere, maybe some recipes, maybe some other things. So even if you did not manage to get a seat this time, we may do this again, but the website is public to everyone, and so so feel free to go check that out. I'm going to try to get stuff up over the weekend so that next week there's stuff out there. Okay, so, and I'm very excited about everybody that's going to join us. I think it'll be great. So, let's see. My cat is laying on the things that I wanted to talk about, so I'm just going to have to wing it. I did want to talk about a couple of things that have been on my mind. So one of those things is Robin from My Life's a Stitch, or Little Robin Designs, pointed me to a YouTube channel called, well, I'm going to pronounce it Beltane Cottage, but I think it's actually pronounced Beltane, whatever. I don't speak Gaelic. I just butchered that horribly. But anyway, it's about this woman that lives in Ireland, and it's a very beautiful and soothing channel. She talks a lot about nature and about her gardening and sustainability and the changing of the seasons and you know, the high festivals like Samhain that is coming up, and her newest video it's only about 10 minutes, but she does talk about, you know, kind of the origins of Samhain and where that came from. And she talked a lot about how you know, it's the time of year, and it's a celebration of really the changing of the light. And so this is the time when we go from the light part of the year to the dark half of the year, which also has been tied to Persephone and that myth and Persephone's descent into the underworld, if that's something that you're interested in. And so this is really sort of that gateway into the dark half of the year. And so she talked a lot about that, which I think is really interesting. I think it's really worth your time. I will put a link to her channel and that video specifically in my show notes that will be up on my blog. Oh, and speaking of, when I went out to do my show notes from last time, I realized I never did the ones from the time before, so now those are other two. Anyway. So it was just, and I so appreciate, you know, Robin for pointing me to those videos, because they are very calming, and she is lovely to listen to, and it is just lovely to see her cottage and her way of life and hear her, you know, talk about different things, and of course things that are of interest to me. I'm not a gardener, but I'm fascinated by it. So, and just being in tune with the earth and the seasons and all of that. And so I highly recommend that you check that out. And so that also has me thinking a lot about my my Sabbath pieces that I had been working on. The last one, of course, that I did was Litha, and so this was the summer solstice in June, and I haven't done anything since then. I haven't even finished this one. I did start to get out the pieces to do Lammas and Mabon, and they, you know, this is like August and September that we're talking here, so again, I am behind, but I did pull some fabrics for these because Lammas has some wheat on there. I was kind of thinking something along the lines of this. I have this piece of doubloon that I used for my Athena Nocturne, and I have this little bitty piece left over, and so I thought, you know, I might use this. I thought that might be nice. And then for Mabon, I have this old piece of Picture This Plus Dill that has a little bit of a greenish cast to it. It's such a pretty color. Well, it used to be such a pretty color. And so I was kind of thinking I would use this for Mabon. And of course now with Samhain approaching, you know, I want to get that piece out and work on it. That one though, I'm not, these are all by the Primitive Hair. They're all freebies on her blog. The Samhain one I'm not super in love with, so I'm contemplating making some changes to it. And speaking of changes to it, the Mabon piece has grapes, and I saw someone in the Stitcher's Coven and also on Instagram, and I cannot for the life of me think who it was, did an apple instead, which I thought was brilliant because, you know, that is the time of year that I associate with apples. And so I really loved that idea, and I think I'm going to borrow that and do an apple myself because I just loved the idea rather than the grapes. So anyway, so you know, watching those videos and thinking more about the change of the seasons and wanting to get sort of reattuned to that has got me thinking again about stitching these pieces and having them so that I can put them in my meditation space, you know, to sort of set up basically, you know, my altar, my space in there to coincide with the different seasons and with the different festivals, the different Sabbats, because that's important to me. So it's really kind of rekindled my interest in getting back to doing that. So I think I'm going to play around a little bit with kitting these up, and as soon as I think if I have them kitted up and ready to go, I'm obviously much more likely to pick them up and start them, because that seems to be the part that I sort of fall down on, is getting them kitted up. So I think that's what I want to do, is get these kitted up, ready to go, see if I can chart myself out an apple and maybe make some changes to the Samhain piece and get those ready to go. So those are the last three that I have to stitch because I have stitched Yule, Beltane, Ostara, and the other one that completely escapes me because I have four done. I have Yule, Beltane, Ostara, and Imbolc. That's the other one. So yeah, so I want to get these other three finished. Well, 3 stitched, 4 finished. FFO. So I think that's it on the stitching. I have been reading, but I have not been reading what I'm supposed to be reading, which is Practical Magic. So I'm getting there. And it's not that it's not good. I just cannot seem to want to pick it up. When I pick it up, I enjoy it. I just can't seem to make myself pick it up. So I've been just not working on it. But my plan is to try to get that finished, and then I can start Tangled Webs to read that. That's part of that Black Jewels series, and Annette has already read it, even though we were supposed to read it together, and I'm super behind. But that is next on my list, and then after that I'm going to pick up the Historian for my reread of the Historian. That's probably going to take me into November, but I'm okay with that. So I think maybe that's it. I can't think of anything else. Eric's birthday is coming up, And so I'm gonna bake him a cake this weekend. I think he wants a chocolate whiskey cake, which I've made before and it's really good, so I will make that. And you know all of my stitching plans, so I do plan to come back and record. It's probably going to be right after the first of the month, so but I don't intend for it to be another month. I intend for it to be a couple weeks, but that way I can show you what I got finished in Dark October, what I worked on the last week and a half, and what my plans are for November. So, all right, we are right at 40 minutes. So I'm going to bid you adieu, and I hope that you are enjoying your Dark October stitching, Dark October reading, and that you have something fun planned for Halloween, Samhain, whatever your choice of celebration is, and looking forward to celebrating the dark half of the year and our descent into the underworld. So, happy stitching, and keep it spooky. Thanks all. Bye-bye.